Good morning, good day, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are and when you're watching this. My name is Josh Hickman. I'm a senior associate with Kroll, and I want to talk a little bit today about sharing your digital forensic knowledge with the digital forensics community. A little bit about me. Before I got to Kroll, I was a law enforcement officer for 16 years and fell into the digital forensics arena towards the end of my career there. After law enforcement, I was at our state crime lab here in my home state of North Carolina, and that led me to Kroll. I want to talk a little bit about some common obstacles that digital forensic practitioners may face when they've made a decision to share, but they're not able to, whether it's due to some type of external factor or maybe there's some apprehension there on the practitioner's part to sharing. These obstacles are common. Those of us that share publicly have faced these. And while they can seem intimidating, they can be easily navigated around, and you can effectively share your knowledge with the rest of the digital forensics and incident response or DFIR community. The first obstacle is the feeling that you've got nothing to say, or what you have to say is insignificant or small. This is a complete myth. It's false. If you have conducted digital forensic examinations or research for any amount of time, you have plenty to say. You don't need a PhD in computer science or digital forensics or have to have been doing digital forensics work for the past 20 years. You can do this after being on the job for 6 months, right? Maybe you've discovered a new TTP that a particular threat actor group uses to conduct their business. Maybe they've changed things up to throw the rest of us investigators off their trail. Maybe you have discovered that a particular artifact on a mobile device has changed, right? Which happens frequently with mobile device forensics. Not only would the rest of the DFIR community want to know that particular tidbit, but the commercial tool vendors would also like to know that. They would like to know that their tools may not be parsing data correctly and that they need to fix it. Maybe you have discovered something completely new, which would be beneficial to all of us. That would be something great to share. I have a picture of the Borg here. The Borg, if you're a Star Trek fan, you already know this, but if you're not, the Borg's claim to fame is that they assimilate species and they add their unique differences to the collective of the Borg to make the Borg better. DFIR is very much the same thing. We like to take everybody's individual experiences and knowledge and add it to the pool of DFIR knowledge that exists today to make our discipline better, right? And the only way that we can add to that body of knowledge is to have people sharing, right? And and that's why I said if you've been doing this for any amount of time, you have something to say. You have something to add to that body of knowledge, right? I guarantee you that uh, those of you that are watching this have each individually seen something that the rest of us have not seen, and it would be a shame for that knowledge to not make it into our common body of knowledge. Uh, we will add your distinct DFIR experiences and knowledge to our own. The second obstacle is a biggie, and feeling that you're wrong or worrying that you're going to be wrong. Uh, we know this as imposter syndrome, and if you've been doing digital forensics work for any amount of time, you have heard people talk about imposter syndrome. It is a thing. I was skeptical myself at first, but having experienced it several times, I can tell you it is a thing without a doubt. Those of us that write blogs, tweet, share in some fashion, give presentations, we have all felt imposter syndrome, you know, to some degree. What if I'm wrong, right? What if I'm wrong and people think I'm a fraud? What if I'm ridiculed? What if I develop a bad reputation? I'll be excommunicated from digital forensics and I'll never be able to do this thing that I love ever again. These are thoughts that run through people's minds, and it's part of imposter syndrome. Uh, it can get so bad that it can actually freeze you into inaction. In other words, you worry about it so much you end up not doing anything at all. We have all felt this at some point, myself included, and I'll give you an example. This is a blog post on the left that I wrote over the holidays last year, and it dealt with Riot ransomware, group policy objects, and PowerShell. Three subjects I was very new to at the time. I had been at Kroll maybe 2 months at that point and had a couple of engagements that involved these three things. I wrote the article and got the text nice and neat, got the pictures set, everything was marked, screenshots, and you can see the date on the left is December 22nd. That was a date that the post was ready to go. It was not published at that particular point, but that's when everything was ready. If you look on the right, that was the tweet that was sent out when the blog was published. And as you can see, there is a 9-day difference. I languished over this blog post for 9 days after I was finished with it. I was so worried that I was going to be wrong, or there was going to be something wrong and people would make fun of me. It was imposter syndrome, without a doubt. I languished over this for so long. And to make matters worse, I was doing this over the Christmas holiday. So I was probably pleasant to be around. I'm joking. Um, these three subjects were things that were way out of my comfort zone. If you follow my blog at all, you'll know that my blog is very mobile heavy. Mobile is what I love to do. That's my thing. This blog post took me completely out of my comfort zone, and eventually I was just like, to heck with it. I'm going to publish it, and if somebody finds something wrong or if they think I'm wrong, hopefully they will let me know so I can correct the blog post. Hasn't happened yet. People may be snickering behind my back, but at this point, I don't care. The point is that I froze for 9 days before publishing this blog post, and you will experience imposter syndrome to some degree, especially when you first get started, right? You're putting stuff out there for people to see, which in and of itself can be uncomfortable. And you may experience imposter syndrome on your first blog post if you decide that you want to blog or even just share, before you tweet, right? That imposter syndrome can hit you then too. The point is the further you get away from your comfort zone, the more that this is a possibility, and it's normal. It is normal. We all deal with it. But you can easily compensate for that and just realize that we're a welcoming community. We like to provide constructive criticism, and if you're wrong, we'll let you know. But don't worry about it. It happens. The next obstacle is actually a couple rolled into one. The first two, not having time to share, or I can't share because work won't allow me to do it. I'll give you those. I've been in both of those situations. When it comes to not having enough time, our community is very welcoming. We are more than willing to pitch in to help other examiners, especially new examiners who are trying to get their wits about them inside our community. We'll help you out. If you have discovered something new or something has changed, or you have something that you want to put out there and you simply don't have the time, reach out to one of us. We will help you get your knowledge and experience out to the wider community so we can all benefit, giving you full credit, of course. We work together all the time, and if you want an example of working together, you don't have to go any further than the DFIR Discord channel, and you will see that in action daily. We work together, and if you're in a situation where you simply don't have time to share, let us know. Let one of us know. We will definitely help you out and get your knowledge out there. I want to show a tweet, and for those of you that don't know Mattia, Mattia, a very skilled examiner, very knowledgeable. He's a skilled researcher. He's a SANS instructor, right? So that means he must know his stuff. Um, Mattia threw this tweet out, and you can see the timestamp. It was 6:30 in the morning Eastern here in the U.S. And he tagged a few of us in this particular tweet. And I can tell you, throughout the morning, people were responding to this tweet uh, quite a bit. And Mattia basically threw up a bat signal and said, "Hey, what is this thing? It seems like it's pretty neat, and there's some interesting data in here." He throws up his back signal to the rest of us, and not only did the people that you can see tagged here respond, but other people did as well. The community got together, and eventually we discovered that there was a practitioner that was working on this particular artifact, Jared Barnhart. If you uh, attended the SANS talks last week, you'll know Jared actually talked about this particular artifact. What if you're in a situation where your work, your employer won't permit you to share, whether it be a policy or you've had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, or you work in the criminal justice system and criminal investigative files are not public record and you can't share. You can get around this too, in very much the same way that we talked about with not having any time. Reach out to one of us. We will help you. Obviously, we don't want you to violate any workplace rules or any agreements that you've signed or agreed to, and we definitely don't want you getting in trouble with the criminal justice system. But maybe there's a way we can help you get that knowledge out there without violating any rules or policies that you may have in place that govern how and what you can share. The last thing I want to talk about here is blogging. Blogging is it can be challenging, and we'll touch on it a little bit more here in just a minute. But I want to point out that Phil Moore has a pinned blog post on his blog here, This Week in Forensics, that talks about tips for starting a blog. And I will tell you, when I got started, I used this blog post as my template about things I need to be aware of, how to get started. What platform should I use? What can I expect? He even talks about imposter syndrome on this particular blog post. Phil did a really good job about thinking about through this, and without having talked to him, I would like to think, based on what he wrote, that these were things that he experienced. And if you read this post, you'll see that a lot of this mirrors what I'm talking about as well. So how do we share? You decided to share. You found something new and shiny, or something has changed, and you want to put it out there. Great, fantastic. That's what we want, right? How do you do it? Well, let's start small, and by small, I mean Twitter. Twitter is at its core a microblogging site. Um, there are plenty of interesting things on Twitter. As it turns out, digital forensics has its own hashtag, DFIR. Twitter is a great way to get little tiny bits of knowledge out there without having to stress over what you're writing, or without having to put a substantial amount of effort into some type of writing. And I'll show you a couple of examples. All of these were, as you can see, they've got the DFIR hashtag in them. I will note up in the upper right corner, Sarah Edwards, she doesn't have the DFIR hashtag in her tweet, but her tweet was in response to a post that did have the DFIR hashtag. And she just added a little tidbit of information that basically augmented what the original poster had put in their tweet. And that is a great example of not having to necessarily come up with something new. You may just know something about a particular artifact the original poster hadn't thought of. Again, you're adding your own unique distinctiveness to the collective DFIR body of knowledge. Alexis Brignoni shares a lot all the time, as does Ryan Benson. Those two guys are machines. Um, Ryan has got this thing now where he's doing a daily DFIR tidbit. And as you can see, as of July 2nd, he was up to day 184. And he puts a lot of good stuff out, as does Alexis. He does a lot of stuff as well. Blogging, the obvious, right? Blogging is more involved than merely sending out a tweet. You've got to invest some considerable time and effort in not only generating some test data, you also need to get the data out, examine it, take screenshots, mark up those screenshots, and compose the blog. Right? You want to compose your blog in such a way that people get what you're trying to convey to them, and you want it to be accurate. And that can take some time. Personally, it takes me around a month to do everything, but that's just due to external forces, work, family, life, vacation. It can be quite the undertaking, but well worth the effort. And blogging allows you to share more information than you can in a tweet, obviously. So we've addressed Phil's site, This Week in Forensics, and if you don't know about Phil's site, This Week in Forensics is basically an index of all the blogs and DFIR knowledge that gets put out weekly. I don't know how he and Lordrina do it every week because there's so much, especially now with travel restrictions in place, but they do an outstanding job. In the upper left-hand corner, that's Devin Ackerman's site, about DFIR.com. And in the upper right, that is Brett Shaver's website, DFIR.training. Those two sites, in addition to having a list of DFIR blogs, as you can see, they have other resources that are available to digital forensic practitioners. Follow those websites, please. They, especially if you're actively practicing digital forensics and you need to find some information, these are great places to start outside of Google. And I just want to show you this collage of blog pages. These are just some pages that I follow, but they only represent a small fraction of what's going on out there. Blogging is definitely a thing in digital forensics. If you decide to blog, you will be in great company. And if you do decide to blog, then let Phil know, let Devin know, let Brett know. They'll add you to the list, and people will find you, and your knowledge will get out there and benefit the entire community. And maybe I can add you to my collage of blog pages. This last one, DFIR Review, this is actually a digital forensic research workshop initiative. It started about a year and a half ago. The aim was to provide bloggers with a way to have their work peer reviewed. This helps when information is needed during court proceedings. I think and Jessica High can speak more to this, but I believe the story was that some folks that operate in the criminal justice system were having trouble getting some methodology admitted to a court proceeding because there had been no peer review. And this is what DFIR review aims to resolve. It's pretty neat. It's very easy. You can submit blog posts that you've already submitted to DFIR review, or you can write one and submit it to DFIR review and then publish it later. It is very much a set it and forget it. You just submit it, they will review it, you will get feedback from it, and based on that feedback, you may need to change, or maybe you decide you don't need to change anything. The point is that it's peer reviewed. And down there at the bottom, as you can see, you get a DOI number, which is pretty cool. Those of us that have done academia work in some fashion, whether we've had to write a paper, or we do research, that's our thing. Getting a DOI number is a big deal. As you can see, the review of the posts once they're submitted is fairly thorough. You can, your methodology can be yes, we'll review your methodology, or you can your findings can be validated and they can verify it. And that goes a long way when you're sitting before a jury, whether you're in a criminal justice system or not, and say, yes, I got this methodology from this particular location. That methodology had been peer reviewed and validated and verified. And you can see over there on the right, you get some feedback there. And if you were to scroll further down, you would you'd see who reviewed the blog submission. That's all. This is a pretty quick talk. Again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. There's my contact information. You can reach me through Twitter, or you can reach me through the blog. I'm very responsive to both places. If I don't respond right away, it usually means I'm busy. Uh, I'd love to hear from you. If you've got an idea about a particular research topic, or you've got something that you'd like to contribute that you haven't been able to because of one of the obstacles that we discussed, reach out to me. Let me know. If I can't do it, I can at least get you pointed in the right direction. Thanks.